Yo, what's going on, guys? Lance Edgel here. You know what's good. Anyway, back in the garage, working on the 33. So we've got to tune in a couple of days. There's a few things, well, that lighting's bad. A few things I need to do before we get it tuned. So today I'm going to be showing you how to install a Z32 airflow meter on the RB25 from a series 2. Also going to be installing a Wellbro 460 pump, which I purchased just not too long ago, just to give it a bit more fuel. I've also got some injectors, but I'm going to install those on the day, so just going to get there a little earlier. It's really easy on these to install them, so I'm just going to install them when I'm there, because then I don't require to trailer it or whatever. So I'm going to get stuck into this, and I'll catch you when we're a bit into it. No dramas. Alright guys, so that's my standard airflow meter there. So there's just 4 bolts holding it onto the pod filter and just one clamp there. And there's the connector there. So we're going to have to cut that back and put this new one on. So I'll just sit that there for a second. So that's a Z32. The reason we do this is because when I was on the dyno last time, the one on it actually maxed out because of calibration and stuff. So these handle a lot more power and can measure a lot more airflow and not max them out. So you can still tune it and be safe and keep going with more power. So bear with me. I'm just gonna get this other one out and then I'll cut to that. Alright guys, as you can see, it's off now. So this is the old one, and this is the Z32. So I just took the pod off and just disconnected it from the intake pipe just there. So just having a look at the tube, you can definitely tell, like, with the actual sensors in there. The second one is a lot like actually a proper piece of metal, not like in there. You can see they're both very flimsy. But yeah, they practically look the same. They'll bolt up in the exact same manner. They're all the same size and stuff. So with the wiring, I got it with the plug. You can splice it in with pins and stuff. This just makes it a lot easier. So we're just going to trim those wires back. I've got a wiring diagram for this one. I'll go over that once I've done it. So we're going to slice those wires into this connector right there. So on the Series 2, you have to use the ground and a signal ground for these 2 middle ones. So yeah, I'm going to cut that connector off, start working this one in and get some solder on, and hope everything works out great. So I'll catch you in a bit. Alright guys, we are back. So as you can see, I've just stripped the wires back and just twisted them around each other. This is just a temporary thing. I just wanted to start the car and make sure that everything was working properly. Even though I got the diagram and stuff like that, it's always good, like with stuff like this, just to roughly get it into place and just make sure that everything's working properly. So it starts and when I pull the plug for the actual airflow meter, the actual car turns off. So that's actually a really good sign to mean that everything's working. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to solder all these wires together and then heat shrink them, and then electrical tape all the connectors, and that'll be it. Just put the pod filter back on and she'll be all done. We'll move on to the fuel pump after that. So I'll just get stuck into this and then I'll be with you guys in a sec. Alright guys, just thought I'd show you some heat shrink. So that's the heat shrink right there. If I want to focus a little bit. There. That's just a bit of like this stuff you use, and that's what it looks like before you heat it up with a cigarette lighter. So I'll try and do this while showing you. So this is just a good way to like protect your soldering and stuff like that. So you just get a lighter and evenly distribute it. And it'll do exactly what it says it do. Shrinks on it and just makes a real tight fit. And then I'm just pretty much going to do that and then electrical tape the whole thing to make it look real nice and make sure none of the wires are thing and all that's tucked. And so once I've done that, I'll be back to you. So anyway guys, that's it all done. So like I said, all the wires all wrapped up with electrical tape now, just a little bit of the end showing. I just wanted to keep it like that. I like it that look a bit more than just all wrapped up, but yeah, it's pretty wrapped up, so you wouldn't even tell that it's aftermarket if you didn't really know what you were looking at. Like I said, all in there nice and smick, pretty much looks like it's meant to be there, and that's the look we're kind of going for with most of it anyway. So anyway, that's that. So now we'll move on to the fuel pump. Alright guys, so we're at the back here, so I'm just going to remove a couple of things. So the fuel pump is just under this thing right here, which is real convenient. We're just going to remove this rear sway bar linkage and those 4 bolts, and then I'll get back to you once I've done those. Alright guys, we are back. So as you can see, this bit's up, so that was just those 4 bolts. I've also got these 2 connectors that came off, as well as this hose, and this hose. Once you've done all those, this ring is actually sitting around there like so, like flush. So all I did was, it gets hacked up a bit, but I don't have the exact tool for this. So all you do is have that, like when it's on there, grab a screwdriver with a hammer and just lightly tap it. I mean, some of it's already been out before, I can see, because I'm having a look in there, and there's some electrical tape and stuff like that. So it definitely has a bigger pump in it, or if not, like someone's put another pump in it. So it'll be interesting to see what's in there. But it's definitely been out before, and it's definitely got something else in it. So I know I can't time-lapse this, guys, because it's a little hard and it's a bit awkward in here considering it's in the boot. So I'm going to try and show you as much as I can in like the steps I'm doing it and stuff. So anyway, I'm going to go into this a bit deeper, probably get this pump out, and then I'll catch you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so everything's out. So you got like the fuel sender unit, the old fuel pump that I have yet to take off. But I just wanted to tell you guys something. Don't do this, okay? Just don't do that, alright? Like, that's how it was in the car with a bit of, I think that's heat shrink. I'm not sure, it wasn't really shrunk on. But, like, just take the little bit of extra time and solder it on. I'm really glad that I've actually come across this, and I'm going to put a new pump in, because not that the old pump, there's anything really wrong with it. I mean, maybe for the power level I'm going to run that right now, this might be enough, but just the sheer fact that I found this is like beneficial. So literally guys, just take the extra time, soldering isn't that hard. Just solder it, heat shrink it, and if you're not like in something like fuel or whatever, electrical tape it as well. But yeah, so anyway, I'm going to get this one cut off and wire in this bad boy. So this is a 460 Wellbro pump, suitable for E85. So anyway, I'm going to get started on that, and I'll be back to you in a bit. Anyway guys, so it's all back together now. So this is the new pump on there, just some cable ties to hold it onto the actual frame itself. It came off with cable ties, so I know they don't deteriorate in the tank. Just some connectors there. Pretty easy, straightforward. So pretty much going to get this back into the car, and we're going to test her out. Alright guys, so as you guys can see, the pump's all back in, everything's pretty much strapped back in. So we're just moving up to the front now to do the injectors. So I've just taken the 3 caps off, these 3 right here, and just the actual connectors themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get in and start pulling these apart, and then yeah, put the new 740cc injectors and try and start her and see if she'll run. Alright. So anyway guys, got some of them partially out, as you can see just here. So what I like to do is I just pretty much stick a screwdriver just under the connectors there, because they're upside down, so just under there. And so just there, and that pries them right out. And I like to spray WD or something just to lubricate these parts of the injectors, and then just sort of use something just pry it up, like a little pry bar or whatever, and try and wiggle it out with your fingers. So anyway, I've got those three out, almost pretty much out. Get these three out, and I'll chuck the 740cc and... Hey guys, so anyway, we're back. So these are the injectors I got. These are 740 injectors. I don't know if I'm saying that right, so if I butchered it, I'm sorry. I find personally Vaseline works the best. So when this wants to focus, there we go. So see that top O-ring just there? Nope. And there's a bottom one right there. So you just put a bit of Vaseline on it, just to help it smoothly go in. You don't want to tear it, because that's like acting as a sealing factor. So just having a quick overlook, all the injectors are out now. So I'm just going to put some Vaseline in them, pop them in, and just hopefully everything goes all right. All right, that's going to be it for this one today, guys. So we got the 740cc injectors, the Walbro 460 pump, and the Z32 airflow meter. So most of them pretty self-explanatory. Like, as long as you've got a bit of know-how, you can go about doing this. Or like, you know, like I showed in the video, pretty much everything. Just make sure you heat shrink and solder, you know, stuff together. Like, don't do it like cheap and dodgy. Don't just twist wires together. Twist wires together when you're trying to test stuff out and stuff like that, but don't leave it like that. Like, definitely chuck some solder on, you know, electrical tape, you know, just everything to make sure that the connections are gonna like hold together for hopefully years to come. But as you saw in the video, I said the 740cc injectors, I was gonna do them at the shop, but I realized as soon as I turned the car on with the Z32 airflow meter that the car was just not gonna run right, so I needed to trailer it there anyway. So that's going to be in the next video, where we're trailering it to check it, and hopefully we get to do some pulls in it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.